Hey, beautiful soul. Before we jump into the episode, I want to know, did you know that I have a completely free virtual new moon circle called Co-Create every single month? This stemmed out of a constant request for a space or a church that taught so many different spiritual modalities, tools, systems, beliefs, and I didn't have any place to send them. So I created it. In Co-Create, this is the space that I want to bring to you to learn how to create a connection to yourself, your energetics, and the divine in a community that won't make you feel like a weirdo. A space where you can ask any question you want, where we get to dive into so many systems and beliefs and tools, and you get to pick and choose what feels good for you. So you can learn what it means to truly co-create with the universe, God, source, for flow, trust, and surrender, to connect with other women who are spiritually curious in a space that's safe, sacred, and inspirational. It's your space for you to find your people and lean into new spiritual practices to truly co create with the universe or God or source or whoever you feel connected to. You'll gain tools and knowledge to understand what it really means to lean into the universal laws and become magnetic, all while being held by massive feminine energy. I've been hosting these free new moon circles for almost a year now, and it's definitely one of my most sacred spaces, and it's completely free for you every single month. Diana said that she made a promise to herself that she would work on her personal development and growth journey earlier in 2024. So I reached out to her and asked her for a testimonial to share with us. And what she said was Adriana's membership community and Co-Create has accelerated that and more. I have had multiple breakthroughs from finding a new career path, improving my mental health by reducing my anxiety and depression through journaling, meditation, and breath work, improving my physical health, doing walking meditations are my jam, strengthening my marriage and relationships, improving my money mindset, and just setting up a routine that complements my design. I've learned to embrace challenges as a sign of growth. I will continuously do my best to be in harmony with myself, with this world, and the universe. I have never felt so seen, heard, safe, and supported. Her community and Co-Create has helped me connect to my true authentic self, to move with grace and intention, to embrace everyone's uniqueness. And we each have a special gift and are collectively part of this world to show and share it this way. Thank you so much, Diana, for sharing all of your reflections and how Co-Create and my community has changed your life. And now I want to share it with everyone else. The link to register is in the show notes below. Even if you register for 1 month, you will automatically be signed up to be able to join every single month for as long as you're on the list. So you don't have to repeat it every month. You will always get on the list. You will always have the Zoom link available. I love you so much. Thank you so much for being here. Now enjoy the episode. Welcome to the No BS Human Design Podcast. I'm Adriana Keefe, human design coach and motivational speaker. I went through my quarter life crisis in my 20s and had to learn how to navigate through finding what I was meant to be doing with my life. I refused to believe in the culture that said we were all meant to have the same path and boring careers until we retire and die. And along my journey, I found human design, a system that reveals your energetic blueprint, showing you where and how to access your body's consciousness and how to live as your true self. Human design changed my life, so I started sharing it with others and changing their lives, but we were all finding the same problem: a lack of resources that explain the system in easy and useful ways. So I created this show where we dive deep into the lessons of the human design system without the BS and the noise you find on the internet. Listen in for lessons in human design, finding your purpose, manifestation and spiritual practices, human design within business, and so much more. We connect with other experts in the human design and spiritual realm in a refreshingly honest way to help you find your way along your spiritual path and live this life with intention. It's time to let go of the societal expectations of being and let yourself find abundance through being uniquely you. Let's get started. Hey, beautiful. Welcome back to the No BS Human Design Podcast. Today, we're diving deep into something that I didn't expect, but was very much guided to share here on the podcast. And I'm talking about a lesson in responding for you generator types and the strategy of responding. But also, if you're not a generator type, it's also a lesson in receiving because I've had a lot of lessons and work that I've had to do over the past year, year and a half, I'd say year and a half, around receiving and what that actually means and how that plays a role in our energetics, in our human design, hand in hand with our strategy, even if it's not responding. So, this is me walking you through the journey of my rebrand. And when I say I didn't expect to share this, it's because, of course, hindsight's 2020, right? In the moment, I didn't really see that much of a teaching, I don't know, like a teachable moment from all of this. And then my human design mentor a few months ago was talking about how she just wrote her first book and she was sharing how easy it was because literally all she was doing was responding to what was coming to her. She's also a manifesting generator. And she just kept talking about this was literally the easiest process of my entire life. And when I heard that, I was like, how on earth can writing a book be easy? Little did I realize in that moment, of course, it's not until after when we look back, it dawned on me later, looking back at my journey with this rebrand that's been about 10 months in the making. This was the exact same thing that was happening to me in the moment of hearing her say that about her book. This has been the most divinely guided, easiest experience of my life. So much so that I don't even question it. Like, there's no part of me that's like, is this really what I'm meant to be doing? Is this going to land with people? Like, whatever. There's no part of that happening at all because it was so insanely easy and all I did was respond. So, we're going to dive into all of that and how that showed up for me. The actual, like, tangible, if tangible, I think tangible is the right word for this, ways that I practiced receiving and responding in each moment. Now, let's start way back at the beginning, like a year and a half ago, summer 2023. I had an astrology reading with someone, and she mentioned a huge career pivot for me in the summer, June, July of 2024. And at the time, I was like, I can't even imagine what that would be because I love what I do. I don't understand what would be different. And she was like, just stay tuned. It's something that's going to surprise you, and it's something that you are very much here to do. It is going to be a big transformation for you in business. And I was like, okay. And all last year, all 2023, I was like, I wonder what this could be, right? So keep that in mind. Now, I have my notes here to keep me on track with the timeline. I had to write the whole timeline down so I could really make this as tangible as possible for you and as easy to understand as possible. So, in February of last year, February 2024, some of you may have heard the story before, but that's when I downloaded my monthly new moon circle co-create. I was asked a lot if I knew of any spiritual churches or places where people who were just feeling spiritually curious could go for community and to learn all these different systems and religions and beliefs and what they wanted to connect to. They wanted to learn all the options available for them first and then figure out like a community or find a community that felt good to grow with. And I had nothing to give them. I don't know of any places like that. I even looked online a lot and there wasn't really anything that felt like it wasn't super pigeonholed into really focusing on witchcraft or focusing super on like one thing versus the other. So in that moment, I was responding to these requests and I started to notice these requests and I was like, okay, I'm going to open myself up to understanding whatever this means. And then it dawned on me in a car ride, of course, caves environment. I was in a car. It's like my favorite. And all of a sudden I had this like, oh my God, what if I just did a free new moon circle where people could come and learn about different systems and tools and modalities and we could talk openly and share and create like a sisterhood that we're all longing for in today's society. And then another car ride, I download the name of it and I'm like, co-create. It's going to be called co-create. because it's literally going to be for people learning how to co-create with the universe and the energies that are at play and available for us. So that was in February. And then in March, I realized that co-create was actually a dream community of mine that I was channeling, but I didn't really know what that was. I knew I wanted to do more of co-create style community stuff, and I've always known that I wanted my biggest thing in business to be a community of some sort, line 4 and 6, like sharing all my tools, right? And like cultivating a safe environment for people to connect. But again, I didn't really know what that was going to look like. So I didn't force anything. I just waited. I was waiting for that clarity. I didn't want to half-ass it. And I have a pattern as an MG to rush into things without clarity because I'm impatient and I just want to get things going. And I really knew that was a pattern of mine, and I did not want to half-ass it and rush it with something that felt so grounded and like an inner knowing that I just needed to wait. So I took that idea of turning it into my full membership into co-creates every month. And I was trying to see what worked and what didn't. I tried to learn the energetics of the community and the needs of the community. And then I started talking to people, just talking to people about the goal I had with recreating the community, which is currently called Human Design Society. And my line 4, my networker, my opportunist energy kept talking, kept sharing, expressing the desire to change and shift this community into something so much bigger. So, what did that do? When I started using my voice and started talking about this to people in my circle, someone that I know who was a client and a friend, she was a client of a group program, I think at the time, yes, and of my community HDS, she offered an exchange of her services to be my brand architect in exchange for what I could coach her for. And I resisted saying yes because I questioned the value that I brought into it. Because being a brand architect is so tangible, right? Like you see the finished product. And we tend to question, especially if when we're in the service of psychology or nervous system or energetics, it can be difficult to express the tangible change, the tangible result of something. And so I also, my open heart, I'm sure, falls into the I'm not bringing enough value into this. And so I resisted that offer at first. And it was an inability for me to receive, even though my emotional authority said yes. My emotional authority was like, this is an easy yes for me. I feel like my energetic output working with her is beautiful in exchange for what she's offering me. And I still struggled to receive it. So I had a couple of conversations with her, and I realized she also really desired the creative work because this work that I would be giving her would be expanding her. She didn't ever work on brands that were doing what I wanted to do. So when I realized it was also creative and expansive for her, I realized I was giving her even more value than I thought, for one, and I allowed my heart to receive that offer. So I responded to an offer. I allowed myself to receive it. There we go, right there. Free brand architect, right? So then after this, I go to my friend Mariah. You guys probably know Mariah if you've been around for a minute. She's been on the podcast. She's not an HD expert, but she knows a lot about human design. So I started chatting with her, and I was like, what's the name of this community going to be based on my chart, based on what I see in the energy of what I'm birthing into this world is literally reflected on my chart. So we took the pieces of my chart. I'm not going to explain it yet because it's going to give away the name. And we bounced ideas off each other for what the name could be. Now, I said one version of the name, but I was like, I'm not convinced. It doesn't feel right. She said a different version of that name. And I, at first, resisted it. It was a gut no. And then when I slept on it, I think it was actually a couple days, maybe 2 or 3 days. I eventually was like, no, she's right. That's the name. So right there, I just want to prove to emotional authorities. My gut actually said no at first, but I allowed it to linger. And I was patient with myself and I was patient with the name. And it turned out that was exactly the right name. So Mariah and I channeled the name of it. My line 4 networking with my community, right? Letting them pull things out of me bouncing ideas off of them. So that was all around March. So the rest of the spring and summer, I started gathering things like images, ideas, things that my body felt an excited response to for like Pinterest boards or ideas for the brand, like all of this. Anything that my body felt an excited response to, I pinned or I saved just for like my brand architect to come back to. I was responding in the moment to things that felt exciting for me and like a deep soul desire for something that I wanted to bring into the world. Not what I thought the world needed from me, not what I thought I should do as a business owner and offer as a business owner, but what my deepest desires were to bring into this world and what felt really sexy and juicy to me. Now, in July, the brand work officially starts. And I realize this was the astrological timing that my astrologer told me would happen. Why it was so unexpected was because I always said from day one of opening my business that I would never put a company name on my business. It didn't feel right. It didn't make sense. And here I was creating a brand with a company name and officially starting what I believe is going to be the rest of my life in business. So that astrological timing was completely correct. And it grounded me even more in my knowing of this is right. So that was a really cool, validating moment. The brand work starts. She's working on it. We're exchanging services. And then the next step, I knew I would need brand photos. I like my photos enough, but like they were never, I was never in love with them. They never really expressed who I fully was. Even my husband said that. They were thousands and thousands of dollars. So I didn't do another one because I was like, well, this is a lot of money to do these. But I knew I would need photos. So I started thinking about that and creating the space for that. And that thought, me just putting that into the universe, that created the manifestation to start orbiting me, right? We start thinking about things, we start paying attention to things. This is how neural manifestation works. We open up our brain to look for things that are going to support this manifestation, this co creation with the universe. So then that was July. In August, we're at my kid's birthday party. And one of my daughter's friends' moms is a photographer. And I asked her if she ever did branding photos. And she was like, not really, because she really focuses on family and all of that. But I could tell by her energy, she was very interested in what I wanted to ask her. So I told her I was looking for brand photos. And of course, me again, forgetting that this could also be a gift for her to fuel those creative juices that she doesn't get to use all the time. I think my energy was kind of backing away. I was like, oh, I just need brand photos, but if you don't really do it, then it's totally fine, whatever. And she was like, no, 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 like I'll do it and I'll do it for you for this much money. And it was such a crazy affordable cost that she was offering me that my mind was like blown. Like I said, my previous shoot was thousands of dollars. And she was offering me something so completely crazy affordable. It would be so dumb to say no to it. So not only did I find someone who was absolutely epic at taking my photos, by the way, wait till you see them, but I saved thousands of dollars. I saved so much money by being patient and by simply responding, waiting for the right moment, the right things to respond to, instead of going out and forcing and initiating and Google searching and trying to find the right photographer. I literally just, there was a photographer at my house and I was like, hey, you do this? And that's how it worked. I responded to her being at my house, responded to her being a photographer, and there we were. And she also deeply desired the creative outlet. We kept talking about that when we're at the actual photo shoot, how much it felt so like juicy to them to be able to work on my brand because it's so different. It's so unique. And they were able to really tap into that creativity that they feel like had gotten a little stagnant in the everyday things that they do. So, photographer in place. What also happened in August was I was invited to a free trip to Phoenix, Arizona. This is going to come back around. So just hold that. This free trip was literally something I also called it in August. I asked the universe, God source, to provide me with a free overnight with my husband so he could get away for a little bit. And the very next day, my husband said, hey, I have a. I just laugh because it's like, it's so crazy what you can actually call in once you've been building this trust muscle with the universe and how you can actually co-create. You don't have to worry about the why or how for anything. The very next day, my husband is like, hey, I have a conference in Phoenix. I have to go. Hotel will be paid for. My flight will be paid for. We have a companion pass for Delta. You'd fly for free. Do you want to come? And I was like, okay, universe, I see you. So, October, we go to Phoenix. And you might have already seen on socials, I got to meet my husband, surprised me with sending one of my very best virtual friends and her husband down to meet me in person for the first time. Katie McMinn, she's been on the podcast. She's been in HDS. She's an incredible, intuitive tarot reader and so many other gifted things. So she surprised me in Phoenix, and that was like a whole nother story. Doesn't really have to do directly with the rebrand, but what does is that because she is such a creative being who literally has an expertise in marketing and communications, we were there together and she like planned my whole wardrobe. She planned my whole wardrobe for this shoot. She made me a Pinterest board and like it was so vibey and she sent me literally outfits directly that I could just buy and I was like, dude, I literally have to do like nothing for this photo shoot. It's all coming to me because planning and the preparation of the wardrobe and all the things felt really daunting to me. That wasn't something that I really wanted to do. And here we go. The universe just like gifted me with someone who literally created most of my wardrobe for this photo shoot. So thank you, universe, and thank you, Katie. So that was October. We move into November. I need to find a makeup artist now. I'm going to do my own hair, so I don't care about that, but I needed to find a makeup artist. And I reached out to the one who did my makeup last time because I really liked her. She wasn't available, but she sent me a couple of other women who would be or could be. And I reached out to the one that had the really cool tattoo. So that's how I work, guys. So I reached out to her and I found out she would not only be the same cost, but she would literally come right to my house. I wouldn't have to go to her. I wouldn't have to go to the studio early for makeup. She was like, I'll just come to your house for the same cost. And I was like, damn, this is working out for me. And then the day before the photo shoot, you guys might already know I listen. I'm a part of Andrea Crowder's community called Legend in the Making. We have an affiliate link. I can drop it in the show notes. She's like so incredibly spiritually connected and she like divinely channels stuff for us as business owners that we can take and implement in whatever ways feel good for us. But she's literally like my go-to mentor that I lean on in small doses. And so the day before my photo shoot, I was feeling very anxious about my photo shoot for a couple weeks beforehand. I get really weird about my body image. I don't feel like I look good on camera. I don't photograph well. These are all beliefs that I struggle with, right? Then I got my period and I was super bloated and all of this was going through my head. So I was very anxious about this photo shoot. The day before, Andrea drops this episode. It's like stream of consciousness episodes that she sends us. She drops this episode on Legends and it's literally her saying, I'm about to do a photo shoot. I have my new rebrand coming. I have my period. I didn't feel in the flow, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, is this you literally channeling for me? Like, this has to be that she channeled this information and wanted to share this on the podcast literally for me. I swear to God, that's what happened. She made me feel so much more relaxed, so much more in the flow because she was literally walking us through like what she does when she has to get into creative photography mindset, even though she has her period and she's bloated and she feels a little like lacking of the vision and the creative flow and all of that. And so literally everything she said, everything I was going through, she was giving me the resolution for in the moment. And then she reminded me of the importance of having hype women there to keep the energy fun and light and playful. And so, although I had mentioned to my brand architect before that if she wanted to stop by the studio, she could, I realized in that moment it was actually going to be really important for me to have some of these people there, whether it's my friends or my brand architect or whoever. So, after I listened to that episode, I reached out and I said, to a couple of friends who, of course, it was like the day before. So most of them couldn't make it, but my brand architect was like, no, I'll definitely come. I'll definitely be there. And at first, it felt hard to ask that, to ask someone to take time out of their day to come and support me at a photo shoot. It is not like a quick 10-minute thing. This is like 4 hours, right? And so in that moment, I had to trust the guidance I was receiving, trust that I was responding correctly to Andrea's words about talking about having people there and like the energy of the playfulness and the lightness, and trust that me being excited about the potential of friends being there was for the greatest and highest best of everyone involved, not just me. So in that moment, that was again an act of learning how to receive her coming to support me for hours, right? And what did that result in? I had a reflector and a projector at my photo shoot because my photographer is a reflector and my brand architect is a projector, literally telling me where to go and when. They set me up for everything. They worked off of each other. They were like, "Ooh, what if this vision and oh, that vision?" And literally they came together to feel my energy and feel the vision. And they just told me where to go and what to do. And let me tell you, the pictures that I've seen so far in the teasers are fucking epic. I have never said that about myself in a photo, ever. They are so good. It makes me feel, I'm gonna cry. You guys, I always cry. I'm such a crier now. But it makes me feel so seen. And I think that was definitely the gift of our reflector photographer being there, as well as my projector brand architect, who just knew what needed to be tweaked and how. And she also knew the vision of my work because she's been in it for so long now. And the photography was just, I just can't wait for you to see it. It's everything for me. It feels like my highest self in like the most incredible way. And so by continuing to follow the flow and following what I could respond to in the moment, that set me up for like the most epic photo shoot that I could have ever asked for. So from now on, I'm absolutely definitely having brand architect on site at photo shoots, and I would love to have some more hype women there as well. No, noting for next time, I'm going to receive support from friends. So that was just absolutely epic. And then towards the end of November, I'm realizing, okay, it's time to start figuring out the tech, the back stuff, all the systems for where do I want to put the community because I'm not staying on the platform that I'm on. And now this is orbiting me, right? Because I'm thinking and I'm talking to people and I'm like, I need to find a new platform for this community and this course and all of this. And then my friend and my one of my mentors was like, "Oh, I have this Thrive Cart discount, and it comes with 4 hours of free setup, and she'll move all your shit over." And I was like, "Stop it!" Like instead of me going out and trying to search and find all this stuff, my line forward was like, "Let me just talk to everyone. Let me see what's going on." And then I had an opportunity to respond to discounted Thrive Cart, free setup, moving everything over for me, which is like the most tedious part of that entire thing, right? So there was that. And then I was offered an exchange for not just my landing page, so the sales page for the community to be completely done, but my entire website to be redone in exchange for my expertise and coaching services. And that just like absolutely blew my mind because if we choose to follow through with that, this entire experience would have been literally like the lowest cost rebrand that I think has probably ever happened in the history of business. It was divine timing. It was allowing support, receiving support, allowing patience. And we aren't even done yet. Like we still have a little what is this going to air? A week, 2 weeks, a week until this actually launches. So like I could have more updates for you. There could be more easy peasy stuff, more support, more systems, more resources brought my way that I don't even know are orbiting me right now, but I don't have to do anything to find out. I just get to be in the energy of every day and continue to follow the things that feel interesting, continue to talk to people, and continue to be open to receiving. Even with the how of the community. I've been tripping up on the how of what we're providing in the new community every month. Am I going to keep the Q&A? Am I going to keep this? Am I going to offer this? And I'm realizing I don't have to worry. It's all going to come to me. It's all going to come to all of us as we are experiencing this new version of this community. We're going to play with it. We're going to see what workshops work and what doesn't, what people in the community need and what they didn't really need. And it'll just all come together. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to force it. It'll just happen. And my entire process with this has been a really great reminder of that. I don't have to worry about the how. This is all going to happen for me. It's all going to happen for all of us in this community. It's all going to unfold. It's an ever green process. Like we're always going to be testing and tweaking and seeing what works and evolving based on your needs. And what I really just want is to make all the tools that helped me available to you. I want you to reap the benefits of my years of hard work. This is what my line 6 is bringing into this community. It's been years and years and years of study and experience, experiments, and implementation and integration and learning new systems and meeting other experts and learning their systems. And I just want to bring that all to you. And that's the goal of this community. I trust how it's supposed to unfold will just naturally unfold. And we'll receive what we need in the right timing, always. Not just me with this community, with this business, but you in the community as well. So that has been my entire journey so far in the rebrand. I almost said the name. Ooh, I almost just gave it away. I am not saying the name until the actual launch. It's also still being trademarked. But yeah, this is how it's been as easy for me as it was for my mentor writing a book. I understand it now. I get it. And I want you to be able to experience this for yourself. I want you to understand what it looks like when you are flowing with your strategy and when you are actively learning how to receive in your life. Receive support, receive resources, receiving anything. It's all available to you. And I'm very, very excited for you to start experimenting with this on your own. It's the end of 2024. Maybe this is a great moment for you to be prompted to reflect on the last year and ask yourself, what have I actually really easily been in flow with? What have I been responding to? What have I been invited to? What have I been surprised by? What have I taken my time with and flowed with the lunar cycles? When have I rested or followed my creative urges and everything worked out exactly as it needed to? Provide yourself with the evidence of all these energetics at play because they're there, but it's hard for us to feel that support if our brain doesn't see the evidence. Thankfully, although I wasn't keeping a log of this entire rebrand process, I went back on timelines in chats and I went back on timelines and things that were booked and I put all the pieces together. I did so much research on this rebrand journey because I thought it would be really important for you to understand like what's happened in the background and how this was a big evolution for me too, but also just a big lesson in responding and receiving. What if you could do something similar and go back on something in your life for the past year, even 6 months, whatever you feel like you have access to in your memory or on your schedule, and see what is working. I know we so often focus on what's not working, but what has been working for you? And if you write that down and find it, I would love to hear it. Like send it to me. Send me a message on Instagram. Send me an email. I want to see these things that are flowing for you. I want to see you building that trust muscle. It's so, so important so that you continue to receive and you continue to have things brought to you that expand you and bring you to your highest and best good for the world, not just for yourself, but the impact you're here to make. Oh, I am just so excited to finally launch this. Stay tuned. We're about a week away. So I'm really excited for you to see it. I love you so much. Thank you for being here. Bye for now.